There we go. Hello, everybody. I believe you can hear me now, right? Okay. Yep, we can. So welcome to today's campaign. I tried. We're having a lot of fun in the background today. So my title in my head was like way more exciting, but this is gonna have to do. But I'm excited to introduce everyone to you, and I'm excited for the story arc for Group 1, even though it's week 2. So it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So I'm just gonna start by like letting everybody introduce themselves, give any plugs or things for the week, and we'll say hello, etc. So I am me. Most of you all know me. And we can start with which way do I point? Okay, Tatum, you got pointed to first. And come off of push to talk. Yeah. That sounds good. Hunter, you can go. Okay, Yumi, did you hear my brother? Hunter is too. Oh, okay. That means that my Discord. Okay. Well, I apologize. This is like the first session. Once I get like all the standard settings set up, like this stuff won't be an issue. But I do have to like get it all set up to start with. So Discord audio. Not that. Just a second. We'll get it fixed. This happened at the beginning of last time too. I have to check what my Discord settings are. Just a second. Your aux. I do apologize, but we'll get it. Voice meter. Boop. Try talking now. Anyone?
Hello, hello.
Yeah, there you go. Tatum, reintroduce yourself. Sorry.
I'm Tatum, and I've been playing D&D for about 2-ish years because friends introduced your love for D&D, and anyway, I have 0 things to plug at this time because that's my life right now, I guess. All right, that's it. Bye.
Thanks, Tatum. It's the second time's a charm, right? It's Hunter, go.
Okay, yeah, I'm Hunter. I'm Dane's younger brother, the one just underneath him, and I've played D&D very little. I played it a couple times, 2 different campaigns, but it was both like one-time sessions for those. So I have a little experience, but not much. And that's, yep. That's me.
Brenna, do you want to go?
Sure. I'm Brenna. Dane is my brother-in-law, and I have never played D&D, and I've never had the desire to, but I'm here. I'm gonna have fun, and that's it.
Taking one for the team. Okay, Tori.
I'm Tori. I have played quite a bit of D&D. I have a website, a blog called Level 1 Geek. I'll drop the link in the chat if that's cool, Dane.
Yep.
That website is geared toward people who are new to D&D, new DMs, new players. So if that is you, then maybe you'll find something that's helpful. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook at Level 1 Geek. So that is me.
Can you send the link to me directly? I actually blocked my links because
yes,
I got
shall do
some
that.
porn on my channel once. So
I
I have to have a moderator send them to me.
I put it in Discord.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put that on there momentarily. Okay. So I'll get that up there in just a second. Why we're doing that?
And I'm Tatum's sister who got her into D&D. So that is what we are both doing here together.
It's family togetherness time.
That's right, as it should be. Okay, I think I'll get the link in a second, but we will just get started because we're a little bit late, and I want to get things moving. Brenna, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Okay, so the beginning of our adventure starts. So, Brenna, you wake up on a grassy knoll. As you wake up, you look towards the west, and you see like these ominous like storm clouds like starting to roll in, which is not an uncommon appearance at this time of year, as it's kind of getting into the fall, and you're like on a coastal village town. It's a very small village. There's only a few hundred people that live here. It's mostly like fishing and stuff is the main, not even source of commerce, but source of like self-sustenance. This little knoll that you're waking up on is like a favorite place that you go to very often. You're kind of it's a place of like solitude, even amongst like a small village. You enjoy this spot where you can just be alone, reflect, and even be away from like all people. Besides that, it's one of the rare like elevated locations in this area, as the village is like kind of nooked in between like the sea with like a river and the estuary like to the south of it, like flowing off into the east, and then like the woods and the forest also going to the east just north of this river. So it's one of the few like raised spots that you can kind of get like vision over the whole area. As you stand up to like go back towards like the tavern that you work with Barnaby, as you helped him, and you've lived in this village for the past 2 years, assisting him with this job, and you become good friends with him. You look towards the sky to the east, and it is like starting to be a little bit twilight. So if you can imagine, like again to the west is these storm clouds like rolling in with an easterly wind, and then over to the west is still just the faintest the faint darkness of the twilight allows for just the slight shimmer of like the stars just beginning to creep as the sun is setting again on the western side, obscured by these ominous clouds. And you notice that there is the constellation of the god of fate that is clearly visible on this night, which is very rare. Usually, like this constellation looks simply just like an arrow. It's just like these 9 stars dotting like a symbol, like an arrow, and usually the head of this arrow is the only one that you can really see, as it's like the brightest of this star constellation set. But at this time right now, like they're all like very clearly visible, which is just a factoid of interest. That's something that you notice that doesn't usually happen, as you're usually out here very often on your own. So you stand up and you make your way back to the short trek to the village. It's just a little over a mile away. The wind is like slowly starting to like pick up as again as you feel this storm brewing and moving in, the briny salty scent of the ocean breeze like catching you stronger and stronger as you make your way towards the village proper. You get to the tavern. And you let's see. Okay, you get to the tavern and you walk in. This is the Sea Breeze Tavern. It's the biggest building in town by far, as one of the only like communal village buildings. Most of the rest of this village is like small like residential structures where more people live. And this is like one of the hubs of the community where people like often meet. So you open the door and you walk in, and as you walk in, you notice that there's like there's more like even like bustle than usual. There's kind of like the regulars at this table that's like right in front of the door. There's just chilling over there is Caleb, Millie, and Kurt, who are always there. They're part of like a local like fishing commerce. They have their own ship, and they're here very often, like drinking the wiles in the away as they just came back from their hard day's labor. There's Berrigs, the surly dwarf that is one of the only dwarf that lives in this town. He's lived here for as long as anyone can remember, and he's over in the far corner booth. On the left, there's kind of like this interesting character that you've never seen before, with like this cloak obscuring his vision. There's also other guests that happen to be here. To your left, just around like this stairwell that goes up to the rooms where you and Barnaby have where you live, as well as like the one. This isn't really structured as an inn, though it does have one guest bedroom like available. It's so small and people rarely traverse through here that it's not meant for a large accommodations. But over to the left, there's like a big, tall, like human figure that's like in the far left booth over by the window across from the stairs. And then at one of the other open tables forward and to the left, just a little bit near to you away from the bar, are what appear to be two young women that are also new to you. So this is, again, like a very rare occurrence for this to occur, where there'd be so much like new faces in such a smallly traversed town, but that's how it is for this day. And then across the bar, on the other side of the room, as you entered in from like the door is situated on the southern side of the building, and you walk in, and so on the north side of this structure is like this bar, and there's the familiar face of like Barnaby over there, and he's like beckoning you over, like waving you towards him, and this is where you start. So it's like, come on, lass, get over here. We have lots of people need treating tonight. Come over to the bar and help me out.
So I walk over to the bar and
Nice.
ask him what he needs.
Okay, we got all these new people. Start going over and take their orders and let me know what they need.
Okay. So I go over and go to the hooded figure and try and see their face.
Okay, so as you approach the hooded figure, he's the one that's like kind of close by the door in this little. It's kind of like a little booth seat that is right in front of like the main entry door. So it's on the south side of the building by the stairwell, and he's just like kind of a little bit like nervous and fidgety. You don't really know what's going on. You do see his face. He's just like a middle-aged man. Probably you would peg him at being about like 38 to 40 years old. Though we know that you never guess ages. But he's there, and he's just like kind of fidgeting, and as you approach, he like kind of like looks at you, but then like hurriedly like looks away.
All right. So then I ask him. I take his order.
Oh, I'll just have an ale. Just one ale, please.
All right. And then I go back to Barnaby.
Yep. And so you tell him it's like, oh, yeah, okay, here, and he like goes and like underneath like the counter, and he like starts like I don't know much about how this stuff works, but there's like a keg on tap, and you're like, and he like hands it to you as you like have it now.
All right, and then I take it, but before I walk over to give it to the hooded figure, ask him, "Hey, do you know any of these people?"
Nay, lass, these are all news. I really don't see it. Like as you know, like over the last 2 years that you've lived here and longer since I've ran this tavern, I haven't seen this much new visitors or new faces all at once in one night ever.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Then I take it over to the guy and give him his drink.
And he kind of like takes it, and he like sits, and he's just kind of like observing the room, and he kind of puts his like shoulder to you and to the room, but he's like keeping. He has like a perception about him that you can see that he is like observing the ongoings of the room, but besides that, he seems to keep to himself. Okay. And as you're like standing there, Barnaby like has get everyone else's orders. Go on.
All right, so then I walk over to the people sitting next to him.
Sitting next to his table, to the two
Yeah.
young women.
Yeah.
Tatum and Tori, in whatever, or let's say Tori, you can describe your character.
Okay. She is not super short, but shorter than average, of a pretty petite build, and she's got kind of tannish skin and a dark brown, like short bob haircut, and she's smiling and laughing with this other young woman that I guess Tatum you can describe.
Okay, so I basically look identical to what Tori described. However, my longer and it's kept in a braid. And yeah, we're just chatting up and having a good time. Is our little friend here too?
Oh, and I have there's a weasel kind of curled up around my shoulders, who has like reddish brown fur.
Cool.
Okay.
So then I I take their orders.
Hey, do you have any grilled spark butterfly?
I think we do. I'll have to check and make sure.
Luna, I told you they would have it. Oh my gosh, that's my favorite. Do you remember the last time we had that? It was delicious.
Okay, Luna, Okay, Ellie, calm down. We'll take 2, please.
Okay, let me just, not to get your hopes up, let me just go check and make sure we have it. What was it you said?
Grilled spark butterfly. I'll cross my fingers.
Butterfly. Okay, so then I run over to Barnaby and ask if there's any grilled spark butterfly.
Oh man, all these people coming in wanting all sorts of exotic things. I'll go into the larder and see what we've got on hand. Last time I saw that, I think we still had some left over, but it'll take me a minute to go check. And he like wanders off to like the back, the northwestern part of the building. There's like a cellar door, and you hear like a, and as he opens that, and he goes like down the ladders to go check down there. But he's gone for the moment.
All right, so I run back to the table and just let him know. Hey, he's gonna check and see if he has any of that order for you. Where are you guys from, by the way?
More like, where aren't we from? Although we haven't been here before, so I guess we're not from here. Have you ever heard
Yes,
of
we've been a little bit of everywhere.
the Lost Brigade Circus?
I have not.
Well, you are missing out. If they ever come through here, I highly encourage you to watch. It's quite a spectacle.
We're kind of a big deal. I don't know. I mean, maybe you haven't heard of the circus, but we are Phoenix and Zephyr of the Tumbling Twins. We're
And
pretty famous.
With this little introduction, Ellie like does a little like, you know, like jazz hands, kind of like ta-da.
Nothing?
Noted. All right.
Well, okay.
Let me check on your order, and I will be right back. So then I run to Barnaby and ask how
You
it's
run
going.
over to the cellar and you yell down. He's like, "Oh, I found just some. I'm coming back up." And he like goes and starts preparing this dish, however it's commonly prepared.
Okay. So then I run back to them. Your order's on the way, and then I move on to the next table.
Okay. To the side window, on the western side of the building, there is this huge, like tall man that is just like sitting. He's kind of got like an upright posture. Hunter, you can describe your character.
Okay. Yeah, so he is he's huge. He's probably close to 6'7", and he's a big guy. You could tell that he's seen. He's been on adventures, or just by his outfit. He's wearing a cape or a cloak, I guess, and he has a hood on. And you can see that he has, for the most part, his face is shaded in the hood. You can see his red beard, that he has a red beard, and he's just kind of sitting there. He's not really paying any attention to anybody else. He's just sitting at the table, and he already has a glass of, or I guess a mug, but you can see he's just drinking water. He's not even drinking like ale or anything. So he's just sitting there minding his own business.
Hey, sir, can I get you anything other than water?
Sure, I will take some food. What kind of food do you have here?
Here's a menu.
Thank you.
And I hand him a menu.
I'll just have the meat and potatoes, please. Thank you.
Meat and potatoes on its way. And then, are there any other tables?
Yeah. Then as you like walk around, there's the rest of them are like the regulars. So you go by like the table and the it's kind of centralized. It's a little bit larger table, kind of part of the focal point of the room even. And it's the three characters there are like very commonly there. It's Millie, Caleb, and Kurt, and you're very familiar with them. They're just like some local fishermen. They're like, come over, lass, get us like some, get the usual, like more, keep it flowing. And they're like talking to you, and so you can like hurry off and run back and forth and start like giving them. And most of the rest of the people here are regular. And then there's one individual at the bar, which is Jacob. And he's always, again, hanging in the bar. He doesn't usually say much or eat or drink much. He's just kind of chills here kind of by himself. He's a little bit more awkward, but he's always there as well. So Barnaby comes back up as you've like taken these orders and you've like talked with him. Brenna, I don't think we described your character, so you go ahead and describe your character.
Okay. I am wait, can I say my race or should I just
Yeah, you can if you want. That's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
This case
I'm
fine.
half elf, so I'm of an average size, I would say. And then I have like white blonde hair and blue eyes. Yeah.
Okay. As you're kind of like distributing like the various fares that everyone has ordered, and people are like talking and etc. The people at the middle table are starting to get more and more rowdy. Is like this is like again a pretty common occurrence. They come and just like drink until they either like stumble home, etc. The Barnaby like goes around and he like finishes cooking like all the meat and potatoes, etc., various orders. Then what you hear is suddenly the door opens and in walks these figures that like they instantly look like menacing. One of them like actually like as it comes, one of them in the lead of all of this procession of people that like start walking into the tavern. And this happens like very quickly where he pulls out like something in front of him and he like looks at it and then he like glances up at you, Brenna, and his like eyes go like big, and just as he does this, the man that's like sitting like to the side, like kind of with his like hood and cloak on, suddenly like springs up to his feet as well, and then one of the individuals that came in at the very back of this procession starts actually like and Tori, you would recognize like the beginnings of like a magical invocation as they like just come in, and as he like finishes, it's like an instant spell that occurs. The four of you characters that are like at the desk, like your auras like slightly glow for a minute, and again like this lead person starts as like he starts then like waving. It's like, oh, let's go, and then everyone this everyone roll initiative.
Starting off with a nat 20.
Nice. Okay.
Nice job, sister.
Do you know how to do this,
All right.
Brenna?
No, but
So you
they
roll
told
a
me it
d.
was this one.
Yep. You roll a d20,
Yeah.
and then you'll add your dexterity plus modifier to it, and then when I ask for it, you just tell me what you get.
Okay.
Use your dex mod.
So like 11. Oh,
And
6 plus
Tori, what's your dex mod? You're at 3, right? Or
20,
plus...
yeah, 3. So 23 total.
Okay. It actually does matter here. Okay. Thanks for the follow, Rusty Nerd. Okay. What did who was 15 to 20? I already got you, Tori. Is anyone else 15 to 20?
I have
I'm-
Oh no, I don't have 15 to 20. Sorry.
15 for Tatum. Okay.
Yes.
We could hear your follow thing.
Yeah.
It's really loud. Okay.
I know. I don't know how to change it.
Okay. It's fine.
What'd you get, Hunter?
I got a 13.
And Brenna, what'd you get?
9.
Okay. All right. Okay, as you see, I'm gonna change screens real quick here. Hopefully everything transitions just fine. This, you guys might have to like look on the stream. If you do not have it, I'll just describe it and you'll probably be okay. So this is what you see as entered into the room. Over here at this table, and the characters are not all like exactly what you guys described. They're just as good as they can be. So over here at the bar is Barnaby. Right here, this is Brenna. And until like we all know exactly your characters' names, I'll just call you by your name. I know the audience knows them, but like until they've talked to each other and introduced them, I'll keep calling you by your names. So here's Brenna. This one is Tori. This one is Tatum. Hunter, this is you. This is the character that's been sitting by the door. This is the table of the 3 fishermen. This is Jacob, and this is the dwarf. And in walk these 5 characters. This guy here in the front is the one that was looking at this item in his hand, and then this one in the back is the one that has cast some sort of like magical something that you guys recognized as some sort of magical invocation. To start with, it is Tori will go first. And just so yeah, so and they come in with like, it is very apparent to you that there is definitive like malicious intent. Like this guy has like jumped up and he's like kind of interceded right here, and then there's this guy that is like yes, there, and you also specifically know, Tori, based on like your experience of magic, that there was something that was cast. You don't feel any effects from it other than like this slight shimmering aura, but you know that there was like something that was like cast, and it's definitive. Like people are like drawing their weapons. It's very definitive. They say they can't hear Tori. Oh, I'll one more second. I have to like just turn on this new screen. Audio. This will fix it real quick.
No problem. I need some time to think about exactly what I want to do.
And can you guys hear now in the chat? The Discord should work now.
Oh, I guess I should talk to
Yep,
let
you're
them
on. You're on.
hear
You're
me.
good.
Okay.
You're good.
Oh, okay. I think that Ellie will Phew. And the malicious intent is coming from like this dude who's cast the spell. That's who
This dude who cast the spell, and these what is it, six guys who walked in. They walked in
Okay.
like and maybe I could like explain that a little better. So like, you know, there's like the rain is like pouring on this thing, the building, so there was no like audible something of anything going on outside until they just kind of like burst into the door. But as they come in the door, like they are the reason that you feel like this intent is again based on his kind of like expression when he like first like observed specifically Brenna, but also when the spell was cast and there's like this glow, and then they're like immediately like going for their weapons. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna cast. I'm gonna try to cast Tasha's hideous laughter
Ooh, that's a fun
on
one.
the guy who who incanted something,
Okay. Yep.
and he makes a
Wisdom?
wisdom saving throw, DC 13.
Okay. He fails it.
Okay, so he perceives everything as hilariously funny and falls into fits of laughter. So I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I guess you can narrate that, but I
Yeah.
cast this. And I imagine Ellie like tells a joke as the words to this spell, and so she says, "Hey, why was the tomato blushing? Because it saw the salad dressing." And then he just starts laughing hysterically, and then she's gonna run behind the table and like duck down.
Okay. So like the same table. Just like
Yeah,
kinda
just
crouching
like kind of like get some cover.
there. Okay. The character that came in and like immediately cast this spell, like all the onlookers like are like just a little bit confused, but for this character who's standing there and like had like this appearance of like some sort of like authority within this party that walked in, like just all of a sudden like starts like falling on the ground prone, laughing hysterically at a mediocre joke at best. Sorry, no. Like,
Hey, come on.
No, and everyone is just like the group is like figured out this guy right here. It's not his turn yet, but he like specifically like looks around and sees this guy and is, you know, might do something based on that. Okay, this guy in the front, it is now his turn. He will immediately pull out his weapon, and this guy, as this all happened and an initiative was being rolled, etc. This guy jumps up and starts to like immediately jump in front of him as if to confront him, and he will roll an attack like on him immediately. So he rolls and this guy, like, as he pulls out like this big two-handed sword and like slashes down on this like hooded figure. The hooded figure like pulls out like a rapier, but it's like quickly like overpowered by just the brute force of this. This guy's like bigger than the rest of this group, and he just like smites down on him and hits right like into here in like the clavicle area, and the leather armor of the hooded figure like underneath like just doesn't like really deflect this at all, as it leaves like this huge gas, and he's like starts to bleed profusely, and he cries out like, ah, you know, and he's like he's in obviously like a lot of pain. Tatum, you're actually next.
Okay, so first things first, on Twitch, my video is lagging hardcore, so I actually don't know where anybody is.
Mine,
Okay.
mine too.
So,
If you're there's oh, I'm off. Yeah, sorry, if I can push the talk. Yeah, you're good. Just for like anyone who can't see like very well, or for Tatum like who's on one screen, and at the front of the door, which is on the south side of the building, you are currently like about north west of this building, or like on one of the corners, not quite the corner, but like towards that, on a table next to your sister. And right in the front of the building, there's like 6 characters who walked in. The very front one is currently engaged with the hooded man, and then the 4 other ones that are kind of like flanking / around him are just starting to draw their weapons. And then the one in the very far of the rear, right, stepping over the threshold of the door, was the one that cast the spell and is now currently on the floor laughing hysterically. So there's one prominent figure in the front. There's 4 kind of like that look very similar, like garbed, etc., that are like kind of in the middle lane. And then there's the one that casts a spell in the rear at the door. That help a little bit?
A little bit. Based on what you said, so Tori, you walked and are now behind the table we were sitting at. Is that what I am?
Yeah, I'm just like crouched down after casting this spell.
So, sorry. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, Luna's gonna get up and she's gonna unsheath her sword, but she's not super interested in this scuffle, and she kind of rolls her eyes at Ellie and says, "You really need to get new material." Kind of go back to where Ellie's standing and kind of just hold her action until someone, I don't really know how holding an action works, but she's gonna hold it until someone comes at them, if that's possible.
Yeah, that's like yeah, exactly. You can hold an action until like some specific item like triggers it. So if like you're waiting for someone to like come actually like attack you or something, that's fine.
Cool.
Okay, next up is this guard right here, and he like immediately runs over here to this this table, and he like just hits on this one of the people at the desk here. Okay, as he runs over there, he like pulls out, like he's just got like this short sword, and like and he like just swings at this character. This commoner, though on the verge of being like near drunk, like, you know, kind of does this whole like drunken boxer thing, you know, type of thing, and he like swerves out of the way and like, whoa, dude, and like he barely misses, and his sword like hits into like this chair, and it kind of gets like lodged and stuck there. This guy, this second one, he runs over here and he like starts slapping across the face this guy that's on the ground, and he's like, "Come on, man, what's wrong with you?" And he's like hitting him across the face. Hunter, it's your turn.
So there's an enemy guy slapping that guy in the face. Oh, the laughing guy.
Yep, he's like trying to like see like what's wrong with him, like what's going on.
All right. Well, I immediately stand up and grab my hammer, and as I'm striding towards the dude that's attacking the drunken guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but as I go over there, I look at Luna, or Luna is kind of in the general direction, but anyone, and I'm just like, and I point down to the guy that got chopped. I'm like, "Get this guy to safety," you know. And as I'm walking over, and then as right when I get to the guy that's attacking the drunken guy, I swing my hammer at him.
Okay, make an attack roll.
Okay. I got a nat 20.
Okay. Roll for damage first.
Okay. Let's see. I need my 8. All right, that's a 1d8.
Yep, your damage should be 1d8 bludgeoning.
6. And then I have 6 plus my strength, right? So that's 8.
Except you'll just, because you got a natural 20, it counts as a critical hit. And the way we'll do criticals is that'll be doubled. So the 6 is doubled. So it'll be 12 plus your strength. So your strength is 3, right?
It's 2. It's plus 2. So
plus 2.
14.
Okay, so that's 12 plus, so it's 14 total. So you like pull out your it's a hammer, right? Like a two-handed hammer.
It's just a one-handed hammer.
It's a
one-handed hammer. I have a shield in the other hand.
One-handed hammer, and this guy that's like stuck, his sword is like still stuck like in this like chair a little bit, and he's like trying to like wiggle it out of this chair, and you just take your hammer and like beat him across the face, and it just like makes impact, right, breaking his jaw instantly because you're hitting him from the rear, from behind. It breaks his jaw, and he like falls over, just like crumples down to the ground immediately. Okay, so that's your turn. Barnaby's turn. He immediately Barnaby rushes, and this is considered like difficult terrain, but he jumps over here. He does barely make it over here, and he like yells at you, Brennan. He's like, it's like, get to safety or whatever. He's just like, you can tell his prime concern is that making sure that Brenna is okay with whatever is going on here. But he grabs like this weapon from underneath the desk. It's this big two-handed two-handed sword that like Brenna, you didn't even know was like underneath there. And he like runs over here and he like is going to like swing on this guy right here. Okay, and he check that really quick. Barnaby. 6. Okay, and he like takes out again this great sword. The character that he's like swinging towards has like he's already like kind of distracted by hitting this other guy, and Barnaby like hits and it's kind of like grazes off of his like left shoulder as he's hitting kind of on this top side, or I guess that's his right shoulder, sorry, and it like grazes off and like does make some damage, and like kind of this character like you know, like his groans in pain as this like sword just gouges into his arm. And then it is this commoner's turn, and this guy is going to just start running back up here. There's a door up here that he's like running. He's like obviously knows what's going on, and he's like just trying to get the heck out of Dodge. And it's this guy's turn. He also runs up here. They don't quite make it out though. Brenna, it's your turn.
Okay, so is there anyone like of the attackers left that hasn't been attacked?
Yep, there's 2 of these. Basically, these 3 like guys here in the middle row haven't been like attacked yet. If you can see.
So I like look at Barnaby because he just told me to get out of there, but I don't want to just like abandon everything. So then I pull out my short sword and aim for the middle guy.
Okay, so you're gonna run over to the middle guy.
Yeah.
Okay. So roll an attack, which is a d20.
Okay, 16.
And you at 16 is good, but also make sure you add your like modifier to it, which is your proficiency plus your dexterity. For a short sword, I believe your or your strength. It depends which one you want to use. I think your dexterity is higher. So
Okay.
that would be. Did you roll a 16?
Yeah, so then it would be a 19.
Yep, exactly.
Wait,
Or
plus proficiency?
it'd be plus your proficiency, so it'd be 21. And then roll your damage, which for you is a 1d6.
4.
4, and that's plus your dexterity as well, your dexterity modifier, which is 3. Because the short sword is a finesse weapon, I believe. So,
So 7.
So 7. So you take out your short sword. You're like disregarding what Barnaby says, like as per usual. He's like, I never listens to the old man. And you run over and you like hit this middle guard with your short sword. It does like significant damage as you like slice right across his chest. It like breaches through like the rudimentary armor that he's wearing, and leaves like a visible gash as he is definitely not doing very well. Okay, then it's this commoner's turn. This commoner with like the just seeing this like display where he was or this actually was she was like attacked, and then immediately this person was just like beat down. She sees like all her friends, even in her like hazed state of near drunkenness, like definitely starts to like run away. The dwarf over here on the desk, on this far table, he comes over here, and in just like typical dwarf fashion, he doesn't have any like weapons or anything, but he just comes over here and he tries to like just grapple this guy standing up here.
Get him.
Okay. And he runs over there and he like grabs this character and he's like Barnaby, what do you want me to do with him? And he's just like, his dwarf strength just wraps around with his like little arms and just like grips this guy that was like slapping this dude on the ground. It is now, I don't believe this guard has gone. This guard is also gonna come here and gonna go up here, and he's gonna like hit Barnaby with his sword. And he like swings like the again most of these guards like all except for like this big one in the front, they all have just like these short swords, and he swings at Barnaby, and Barnaby just like kind of deftly with his like big two-handed sword just like deflects it out of the way. This guard then like looks at Brenna and who just attacked him, and even with him like being like this horrid gash across his chest, these individuals, these soldiers, mercenaries, or whatever you kind of get the feel that they are, he doesn't have like the visual appearance of like having any fear or anything. He's in a definite like visual pain, but he is like not like in any way like phased by this. And he's just like, he just yells at you, he's like, for death or glory, and he like attacks you with his sword. And he got a 6. So Brenna, I believe that doesn't, I know that doesn't hit, but when I tell you what that is, you look at your AC, and if it's lower than your AC, then it misses. So just so you know, that does miss, but lower, a hit is equal or higher to your AC, just so you know. So he's still like, because of like the blood loss, he's like a little bit woozy. So even like he's like enraged and like yelling at you as he kind of like is swinging his sword at you, like it's easy for you just to kind of deftly like step to the side, because he's obviously just lost a lot of blood and is not fully cognizant. And then it's Jake's turn. Jake, seeing that this character is like hitting at Brenna, will like kind of jump over here, and he like pulls out his a bow that he carries. Jake happens to be one of the villagers who not only is a fisherman but does like forestry hunting as well, so he carries his bow with him frequently, and he shoots at this character who is swung at Brenna. And but in like the commotion of all this, the events and what's happening, like he's like fingers are shaking, like you can tell that he hasn't like experienced this before, as he like pulls out his bow. And though he is known as an adept marksman for like woods animals and stuff, like the arrow just like flies past and like lodges itself over here in the stairwell. Okay, now it's this guy's turn. This guy's like as he's like facing down this, and he's obviously like at the point of like mortal peril, he reaches, he already had like his weapon out, and he's like swinging at this guy that's in front of him, and he's like, it's like, all of you get out of here, and he like swings, he hits, and he will roll. And he like does, and he like has like this rapier, and so like, and he stabs and makes a lunge at this character, even at his state of just like decrepit, near death. He stabs at this character, and like again, this guy is like starting to like show some of this wounds from being attacked by Barnaby, and this guy is starting to you can see again like the blood is starting to seep through like the clothing and the armor, and he also, like, while he's doing that, he like pulls out like this note in his hand. He pulls out this note, and that's what he does for his turn. Tori, it's your turn.
Okay. Sorry if you hear my dog scratching the carpet in the background. That's her attempt to make it more comfortable. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. Ellie, I think, is still just like peeping over the table. She's pretty young. I mean, she's not like a teenager, but she's like 20, and she's just wide-eyed. She probably hasn't really seen like killing, really. At least not this close and personal. So she looks at Luna, and she just like shakes her head, like, I don't know what to do. But she'll say, "If you go in, I've got your back." And basically, I will. I want to use my action to help. I want to use the help action.
Yep.
To give Luna advantage if she goes in and attacks. And And I want to do that by using minor illusion to make a noise like right next to the whoever she targets on like the opposite side to kind of make them like made you look, and then Luna can attack them. So that is what I'm doing. Otherwise, Ellie is like staying put.
Chilling. Good. Okay. Nope. Totally got it. Then it is this guy's turn again here in the front, and he is just like continuing this ferocious barrage upon this guy. As who is by him here? I think you have line of sight. What roll a perception, Tori?
Okay. Let's see, rolled a 14, so that is a 15 for
15.
me.
As you like peeking over the table, you have like a clear line of sight in this guy. Like, well, it's not clear, but like you can see. Like you notice, like this guy distinctly looks like he like recognizes this guy. Just FYI. So they like he there's some sort of like recognition there as he's wailing on him.
And the guy, and one of them's holding the note.
This
Right?
this guy that is getting beat on is holding the note. The guy that is attacking is the guy that you see kind of in his eyes that through his like bloodlust that he recognizes him.
Okay.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yes.
Yep. And he attacks again. Okay, and he hits.
No, we're not gonna save him.
Okay, and he just like swings again this two-handed sword and just like again like on this already damaged like clavicle part, and it just like lodges like deep in this guy, and he like crumples down to the earth, like the note like still clutched, and his rapier was still like kind of like as he was in the act of trying to like parry defend himself, but the rapier is as a very thin lightweight weapon was just not designed for this kind of like combat, and he crumples to the earth. This guy is now yelling to his comrades over here, and he is saying, it's like, go over and tell the butcher that they're here. And then that's what he says, and he does on his turn. It is Tatum's turn.
Dane, really
I
quick,
missed
sorry,
his
I
turn.
lost track of the guy who's laughing. But,
Yeah, I just realized that I missed his turn. He's last in the turn order.
Okay,
Does
he can
does
make
he
a save on each
make a save?
Oh.
Yes, he
Oh,
can
he
make a
does.
save on each of his turns.
And it's at the end of their turn. He does make his save.
Yes.
So this was last turn. Technically, I just missed him in the turn order. He's last, but
Okay,
he rolled a natural 20. So this character that was like kind of slapping him in the face, he like snaps to, and he stands up, but that's all he does on his turn. And now it's Tatum's turn. Thanks, Tori.
Okay, so the guy who just butchered the other guy, was he a bad guy or not? I'm trying to like visualize it as I'm listening to you,
Yep.
but it's hard to follow on this.
You're totally fine. He is definitively bad. Yes, he's the one that Barnaby is like kind of went in there and attacked, and like the guy that was like crouching at so the guy that he just butchered, as he said, was the guy that was kind of in a cloak that was sitting at the front of the inn earlier, who, though mysterious, seemed innocent as far as you could tell. But yes.
Okay, so the butcher, is he facing us?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna look to my sister because I'm also kind of peeping over, and I've gone a bit pale, and I kind of just feel like the blood just kind of like leave, but I also like feel like a surge of adrenaline, and I'm just go, okay, I'll go. You stay here, and I'm gonna just go for it.
When you attack, I'm helping you.
You get advantage.
And I'm gonna do it. I'm make an elephant sound, right next to this guy on the opposite side of where Luna is approaching.
And you're going.
So suddenly
for the-
everyone hears this elephant like.
I don't know if I have elephant noise, but yeah. You're going for the guy that the butchery guy. Or one
Yes.
of the, okay.
And a quick question: Has anyone landed any hits on him? Did the guy the hooded guy?
He has been hit by both the guy that he just struck down as well as by Barnaby. And there's like again, like visually there's blood starting to like kind of seep through his clothes. He looks like okay, but definitely injured.
Okay, what I would want to do is run up to him. I'm not looking to kill him. I just want to knock him out. And so I'm gonna run up with my sword, but rather than like swipe at him with my sword, I'm gonna like hit him with the back of it as he's turning, hopefully, to the sound that Ellie made, and try and hit him in the back of the head with my sword. And I rolled a non-nat 20.
Okay. And then roll damage.
Sorry, that was a 22. I don't know if that makes a difference.
That's it. What's the damage?
Okay, sorry. I have all these buttons I'm trying to push. It was 7 bludgeoning.
7 bludgeoning damage. Okay. So he is like there's all of a sudden like this sound of an elephant, which I am incapable of making, which or whatever. That like appears like somewhere behind him, and he is like visibly distracted. Oh, by the way, did you roll advantage? Did you roll twice for your attack? It hit either way, but you might get
yes.
it. Okay. And he's like looking over his shoulder, just like obviously like wondering what the heck is going on with this. As you jump from the table, you run across the room, and you like kind of, for lack of a better word, like kind of slap him with your sword, trying to like incapacitate him without doing any mortal damage. It like hits him across the face. He is not downed nor out or anything, but now he is more visibly furious and annoyed as he like turns and looks at you.
Do I have any movement left? I have 30.
Yes, you do.
Okay, I'm gonna notice that didn't work, and I'll go, oh shoot, and then I'm just gonna try and backpedal, like disengage him.
You could get to about here.
Can I?
You can't
Okay.
disengage
that,
because you already
Or is he
took
gonna get an
action.
attack?
He would get an attack of opportunity on you. Yes.
Okay.
You're not a rogue anymore.
I know, I miss her. Okay, then I will just go, oh shoot, and then ready another attack for when he attacks me, I guess.
Okay, that's fine. Just stay there. That's fine. As that guard is dead, that guard's turn. It's this guard's turn, I believe, and he is like listening to what this guy said. He runs out the door and disappears off of you. It's then Hunter's turn.
Okay, how many guards? So there's the butcher left, and then there's the guy that's being grappled, and
Yep.
then how many other guards are left?
Oh wait, that guy was being grappled. My bad. Yeah, that's good. He does not make it out of his grapple. You can still make an attack when you're grappled, can't you, Tori? Yeah, so he'll attack that guy. And okay, yeah. So there's the guy being grappled, and then there is the mage guy, the butcher, and one other guy.
Okay, so I'm now after dispatching the first guy, I start making my way over to the butcher. But as I do, I give like an encouraging word to Jacob, the bowman.
Huh?
You know, like I just tell him, and then I tell him, aim for the wizard. You know, and then I engage with the butcher, and I'm not looking to knock him out. I'm looking to kill him.
Okay. Yep. Roll attack.
Okay.
And roll. We're playing like flanking rolls, so roll it with. I believe that's advantage. I'll double check. But roll it with advantage. I'll say advantage either way.
Okay.
Just go
I
for it.
roll. Okay. Yeah, I got it. 13, so plus 4, so 7.
Okay, that hits. So roll damage.
And then I rolled a 6 plus 2, so 8.
So you're attacking it, hitting him with the like this hammer, and you like strike and like smack against the back of his head. He has like a kind of a rustic, rudimentary like helmet that like seems to like absorb some of the impact of this, but definitely, you know, that leaves like a visible dent, and there's like a loud clang and just as it like strikes on him, and he is definitely, you could definitely tell that this like did some significant impactful damage, but he's still like up.
Jeez. This guy's a
And
beast.
Barnaby's turn. Barnaby. Okay, so Barnaby, he will use like see if that's, I believe that's a bonus action. Even if it's not, I might call it that it is, because just for the sake of moving on, and because I don't have every class 100% memorized. Okay, yeah, that's how it works. Okay, so Barnaby is attacking this the guy one more time on his turn. Okay, and as Barnaby like attacks at this guy, again swinging this giant like great sword. So both of these guys here in the middle are just wielding these big great swords. He strikes down at the guy, and just kind of with the damage that's already been inflicted, it's like cleaves right onto him, and just again just like shoulder chops this guy, and he starts to like buckle and kneel, and he is down. Barnaby also, while doing this, he kind of like positions himself right here, and Tatum, you are I don't know the word, but you were like protected. He's let's see, he did, what is it called? I know it is in my head. It's a distracting strike. So if anyone like attacks you, then they have disadvantage, I think. Or there's something. I need to like check what it was again, but we're gonna say that you have disadvantage. I might have gotten a little wrong, but I'm not too worried about that. So he's like protecting you is basically what he's doing.
You're the DM. You make the rules, right?
Making the rules, yeah.
So
Making his
doesn't
class
have to be
the
perfect.
being. For anyone who's here that doesn't know, like I've actually literally only played Dungeons & Dragons once, so like we got most of it, but it's all good. So that's Barnaby's turn. After his turn, it is now the commoners, and these guys, her turn's last, so these guys are like running out. As they run out though, you hear just like distant like screams as they run out, you know, like you don't know what happened, but you hear like screaming as they run out the door. Brenna's turn.
Okay, so the guy who wait, there's still attackers in, right?
They're still attackers.
There's,
There
like,
is
at least
this
three,
guy
I
behind
think.
Barnaby, and this guy here, and this guy's grappled, and still the wizard technically.
Okay, so Tatum attacked
The big
one
guy's
of
down.
them,
Tatum did attack
He's
the big
down.
guy. Yes.
and he's down.
Yes.
Okay.
There's still this one right in front of you that is not down yet.
Okay. So I take my short sword and
But he looks
go for
really
the
rough.
one- Okay, so I take a few steps back and take my longbow.
If you take a few steps back, he'll get what's called an attack of opportunity from you. As you step away, he can like try to hit at you.
Okay.
So like so he's right here. So if you step back, you can do that, but he will get a free hit. It's called a reaction hit, an attack of opportunity.
Okay. Okay.
So you can either hit
Well,
him
then-
or you can step back and.
I'll hit him with my short sword.
Okay. So roll a d20. You're on mute.
You're muted, Brenna.
Something muted just then.
Oh, add something to that.
You add, I believe you add +5 to it.
Okay, so 22.
Okay, that hits. Now roll your
Nice,
damage,
nice.
which is a 1d6
4.
+3, 7. So you've hit at him, and this guy that had just been yelling at your face, you know, is like for blood and for glory, and you just like hit him down as he like tried to like swing at you, and he also like is if we're to use the words from our last session, he perspires. He's sweating
dead.
profusely. Yeah, he's dead.
He's
He expires. Yeah, I used the wrong word last time and it was funny.
gotcha. Okay.
Perspiring profusely. Okay. Brenna's turn. It's the last commoner's turn, and she also runs out. This is all happening too fast for her to like register like that the screams were associated with like running back out there. The dwarf's turn. The dwarf, he makes like an attack on this guy that he's like holding, just like his bare hands. So he's like holding this guy like as he kind of lets go of his bare grip, and he just like punches him in the face, and he just wails on this guy, and he hurts him, and just like this guy's like obviously visibly taken back by the ferocity of like this dwarf that just like ran over from this table. Okay, it's now the guard's turns. This guy is dead. He's last. This guy will runs away. He will get attacked. So he's gonna try to run away, and Tatum and Barnaby, you can make an attack of opportunity on him. So Tatum, you can roll on him, and Barnaby as well. He misses.
I don't want to brag, but I rolled an 8, so
What's your modifier?
that was with the
That was with
modifier.
Okay. So like as you are both like just like through the ordeal, and you're like a little bit like visibly shaken too. Like this is probably again the first time that you've like seen this sort of like just abrupt carnage. Like this has all happened acknowledgeably very suddenly, and you don't really still recognize everything that's going on. So as you like kind of look over your shoulders, he's like kind of running away. You're too distracted to kind of even get like a swing off of him. And Barnaby, as he's trying to like protect you, also doesn't have time to kind of like go over and try to hit him, and he like successfully like and he's outside the front door. It's now the Acolyte's turn. And the Acolyte, noticing that all of his friends are gone, let's see, the Acolyte, so he like runs. Tori, can someone like assist, like break a grapple? They can't, can they? Not really.
They can try.
Okay.
It's a contest. They can use athletics or acrobatics. And
Over
the
hit the dwarf.
person who has the grapple also
Has to
rolls athletics.
compete it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So the dwarf. So he like comes over and hits the dwarf, trying to like save this other guy and free him from his grip. And as he attacks him, like the dwarf, again, he has no weapons. He's just there, like he was having dinner just a moment ago. He definitely just like let's go. Like his grip is like loosened, and this guy is no longer grappled. And then once that happens, he will run away as well with the remainder of his move. The dwarf gets a attack of opportunity, but he is too disoriented to like get any attack. It goes back to Tori's turn.
Okay.
There's just the one guy left.
So, just the Acolyte dude?
The Acolyte ran out. This is like one of the guards that was just grappled. He's the only one still
gotcha.
standing.
I think Ellie will. So the guy who was holding the note is dead now, or
Guy holding the
seems
note is
to
dead.
be dead.
Yep, he's.
I
definitively
think
dead.
Ellie will kind of slink up to
Slink.
that guy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And she'll like, with like a shaky hand, like reach for the note.
Okay.
And look at it.
Okay.
And I guess she will ready. By the way, just a note for flavor. My minor illusion continues for 1 full minute. So
There's just this elephant noise.
An elephant sound
Just on repeat.
Just like on. Yep, exactly. That's exactly what's happening. So I will ready. Ellie will ready a firebolt if anyone comes. Like if that guard comes to like attack her, but I don't think
Okay.
he will. So she's just gonna creep up and look and reach for the note.
Okay. So for the sake of this, we'll say that you have the note, though in this there's still being like a guard in the room. You have not read it yet. Third turn though. It's Tatum's turn.
Wait, you skipped Jacob, the
Did I skip
bowman.
Jacob? Oh yeah, I did skip Jacob. Thanks.
Can't forget Jacob, the
Can't forget
bowman.
Jacob.
Yeah.
Jacob,
He's gonna hit this time.
He's gonna hit. He's gonna go over here to get a position so he can like have line of sight like over this table. And as he was told, he will attack. Okay, Jacob, inspired, though, I mean, not a real inspiration, just regular inspiration. He pulls
That
out his
was real inspiration.
Was it a real inspiration? Do you have inspiration?
No, I'm just
Okay.
My words are enough.
Your words are enough. Your words are enough. He like his hands no longer shaking as he's like kind of his heartbeat has settled through the being accustomed with what's happening here. He draws his bow and he is sure enough this time it strikes true, and he places the arrow like right in this guy's chest, and he's also dead. This
That was the last warrior, or was that the fleeing
that
wizard?
was the last one. The
Okay.
other two have gone out. As of right now, so Tori now has an opportunity to read this note, and let me pull that up on the screen. You have the stream, right, Tori? I can read it out if not. But
Yeah.
It's late
I
for
can-
us, but yeah.
I know it's delayed. I know I'm switch.
Yeah, I have it on my computer, so you can put it up there and I can read it if you would like.
Had to
Just
make
with
the
like
font
a
different.
10-second delay.
Yeah. Font is a little better. It'll still be hard to read, but this is on purpose.
Okay.
Are
Oh,
we
it's
out of
bloody.
initiative order?
What's that, Tatum?
Sorry, are we out of initiative order
You are
now?
currently out of initiative. Yes.
Okay. Do you want me to read it out loud, or do you want me to just
You
read
may.
it? And okay.
During or Ellie.
You are right by her
Okay.
anyway, because you are kind of standing over this guy that's dead. Yep.
Okay. Ellie will kind of just sit back on her butt on the floor, with this note, and Cinnamon, who had scurried into her jacket with the scuffle, now like pokes his little head out,
You little cinnamon.
and yeah, she reads it out loud.
And
Cassia
Barnaby kind of comes along behind your shoulder, and he's also like observing this note.
traveled to Allion post haste. Some bit is smudged by blood. A vision that there is, has prompted me to send you there to ascertain if this might be true. Something. She is there. Confirm. Bring her to Roker immediately so we can keep Kolios's ambitions. Georgie, as he. It should go without saying, the utmost secrecy may result in the death of many innocents. This is why it is imperative to keep me informed, and if you hear anything amiss, contact me directly. Execute the girl. Jay.
And there we'll take a few minute break.
Okay.
I don't know if I have a cool break screen, so I'm just gonna leave the note there or something. Well, I do have it. I'll just go to the regular screen and there, we'll go to the screen. Hello. How long do you guys need? just good. We'll take just like a few minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab water out of the fridge. So. Oh, okay, everybody. We're just going to take a minute and chill for a second. If anyone has any questions, I can actually like type. I don't think I muted any more hubs. I think you're probably on a lag. I was muted, then I unmuted it. Never mind, you're back. Yep, we're back. Man, hubs. I had like a plethora of audio issues getting started up. Didn't hear the backstory at the beginning. It wasn't near as long as your guys's. It's very different. Very different. Want to recap? Basically, this campaign starts much more suddenly and faster than the other one. A little bit different. Like all that happens at the beginning of the introduction is Brenna is outside of this cozy little village on a hill as like this storm is like rolling in. It's just different. It's just different, Hubson. Both sides of the story needed different elements to kind of get started. There's so much about everything that we don't know yet that of why they started this way. JK, yeah, not as much railroading. This one starts almost like very abruptly, and that's again on purpose. But yeah, Brenna is outside the village, and she walks back into this tavern where she has been working and helping for the last 2 years. And she's kind of talks to the guests for a minute, and everyone orders food and gets food, and then like this just happens, and no one really knows what's going on. So it's very abrupt. And that's it. That was really the recap. Yeah, you basically saw it all. We were on like a little bit late. I had like some, even more than last time, I had some serious audio issues. Had to unplug some stuff, and then it like turned everything off for a moment. I had to restart it. And to literally restart the computer at like 8 p.m. But we got it fixed. How is the audio in the background, Hubs? Can I like turn it up a little bit? Yeah, it's okay. We'll get it. I think this is the last time. I know like the things that we'll have to like do to like make sure it's all kosher next time. And everything should mostly remember. The Discord visuals are like a big part of it too. Hunter's got his like Vikings shield and horn. Cool. Okay, we'll be back on in like a few more minutes. We're just waiting for everyone to kind of get back. Background's just the right amount of background. Nice. Give you some Dungeon Master? What? Dungeon Master by Visigoth. That's been on the request for a while, hasn't it? Give it a whirl, huh? A little listen. Is talking to me on the Discord. He's asking me to like turn on Dungeon Master Visigoth. Which maybe we'll do it at the closing. I wasn't reading anything. I was just like talking to Izzet. I can hear you. The stream cannot hear you. No. Yeah, you'd have to do. That's why audio is such a pain. We'll just wait. So just everyone, we're waiting for one more player to get back, and then we'll be good to go here in just a minute. As our adventurers just received a bloodied note, fletched in the dying grasp of this shrouded mystery man. And this note was just like read out loud. Are you ready, Sren? Okay. We are basically... is everyone on Discord? Can you hear me again? Okay. So we'll go back live. Uno, dos, tres. Okay. So we're going back here. This bloodied note has just been read as Barnaby is kind of peering over the shoulder of Tori, like just reading out this note. Your characters are all standing here, kind of in the aftermath of this very brutal, very visceral, and very like sudden and confusing conflict, right? And I want to set like the preface here, like this is like, imagine like this is very like abrupt. Like none of the characters in this situation or setting were like expecting, you know, like this very obscure, discreet, like small village town to just be like kind of swarming with this kind of activity, noise, as well as just violence, very, very abruptly. So this is very disturbing, and no, I mean, we don't know exactly what's going on yet, and so this is like all just like settled down. Hearts are still like pounding as Tori just finished reading this note. And
okay. So are we live again?
you're alive. Yep.
Or like we're okay.
Yep.
Okay.
well,
right after, sorry,
No, go ahead.
really quick. Right after Ellie finishes reading this note, I kind of just like dismiss it, and I go, Ellie, 3 things. First, are you okay? And I just kind of like pat like her face and like just kind of like check her everywhere. I'm like, okay, good, you're okay. Number 2, I know what happened. I used a long braid today, and usually I use a halo braid, and I should have known better, and I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. Number 3, I'm pretty sure I peed myself a little bit, and I need extra clothes. Do you have anything on hand? And I whisper that part a little bit more subtly. I don't know if I'm like successful in no one hearing me that, but I'm trying to make that part a secret.
Barnaby like kind of ignores you. Like not ignores you, but like politely, right? He's politely letting you kind of have your conversation, even though he is like standing very close. No one else is like that close proximity to hear that.
Ellie will so Barnaby's kind of like over her shoulder a little bit.
Yeah, he was like also like reading this note. He's like, yeah. Mm-hmm.
She'll just sort of like hold it flat so like everyone can see, and she'll with her other hand grab Luna's hand, and she'll just look at everyone and say, did anyone know this guy?
And while you're doing this, Barnaby like I'll let you go in a second, Hunter. Barnaby yells at like Jacob to like run over to the back door and like look out the window and like lock it. And Barnaby, after he's read this note, he goes to the front door and he's like again peering to the side, like out the windows where like the acolyte and stuff had run off. Go, Hunter. Oh. You're good. You're good. No, you're good.
I just say, or like, keep that letter. It might come important later. And then I grab the sword from the dead butcher guy, and I kind of toss it near the dwarf, and I just pick that up. It could come in useful later. Everybody stay in. Because we heard the screaming, right?
Yep, you did.
Okay.
From the back door.
And I say, let's get prepared.
Prepared for what?
We need to be able to get out of this inn.
Okay.
Ellie's now like holding the note out because it's like kind of soaked in blood, and she's just got this like. Does anyone else want to hold on to this? It seems
Barnaby
important,
walks over and like grabs it out of your hand and takes it.
Ugh.
Innkeep, have you seen this man? Do you know who this guy is?
He's like he's kind of like looking at the like cautiously, kind of in this mode of like pensive, almost like pacing as he's like looking at the windows. He's very visibly like he's not shaken, but you can tell he's like kind of in the think tank, and he's really trying to like figure out what's going on. And he doesn't like, he acknowledges like, oh, you know, he kind of like shrugs it off. He's like, I don't know, let me think. And but he is he's thinking about something pretty deeply, but he's not more forthcoming than that.
And can please someone stop that dang elephant?
Oh, right. Sorry. And Ellie like waves her hand No.
The
Ellie
elephant
claps
turns off.
twice, and it turns off.
It's like, and the elephant noise stops.
Thank you.
Okay.
Innkeep, please, if you know something, you must tell us.
He's like, this might be, I don't know though. I couldn't be sure. And he's like glancing outside the window. You start to hear like progressively. There's like, noises like kind of indistinguishable at this point, like happening down the street and outside. Though you don't really know what's going on. It's like really hard to tell. It's indistinguishable, but you do hear like a commotion and like, if basically. Let's see, where you are, Hunter, if you look out like the western window, you see like lights start to be like coming. The very dim outside is kind of has a little bit more sheen as light because it's now like dark. It's now dark at this point. And like rain is like pouring down. But there's like these lights that are starting to pop up.
Lights from like torches.
That's what it feels like. It's kind of like a shed glow, and there's like this silhouette of, like, how like shadows are like kind of dancing back and forth.
There may be more coming. Innkeep, is there another way out of this building?
Okay, and he goes, Barnaby goes over and he grabs Brenna, and he like shoves like the note in your hand. And okay. So he shoves the note into your hand, Brenna, and he says like, and now finally he's we're, well, if I need to, I'm gonna take the note off the screen. I realize that that's still on. Okay, he grabs her and he's like Elysium, and he actually calls you Ellie. Well, you're both Ellies. That's okay. But he calls you Ellie, and he's Tori like perks up. Sorry for doing that for you, but he grabs you and he's like, go through the trap door in the back in the cellar. Get out. Take my pack. Go take these 4 and get out of here. And as he's doing this, he's saying you start to hear like again. There's like loud noises, and there is almost kind of like a rumble of like a small dull, like it's not an explosion, but like windows breaking like down the road. And Barnaby is like showing extreme urgency, and he like shoves the note into Brenna's hand, and he's like, "Okay, take the door, through the cellar. Get out the back on the eastern side. So there's the cellar that goes out. So this building is situated such. The front door is on the south side. The back door, which is like the kitchen door, is on the north side of the building, and in the north eastern kind of like quadrant of this, there's like a little cellar door that leads out to like a back entryway. And he's like, go to my sister. She's in Jayon village, and you've been there, Brenna, so you've like been to this village before. It's like a few days away. And he's like, go there. She'll know what to do with this. And he hands you again the note, and that's what he's like urging you to like go.
Okay, so I'm kind of like still like in shock with like the whole situation and stunned a little bit. But I like take the note and I shove it in my pocket, and I like try to grab onto him and like get him to come with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like pulling him because he's all I have. And like trying to pull, and I don't know if he goes with me or not.
Okay. As you're doing this, and as like the sounds down the street, and you guys are kind of like again coming back to your regular, but then like this stuff starts to happen outside. Like a javelin like flies through the window, and like lodges. Tori makes a dexterity saving throw. Based on where you're in the window. You might be muted.
Yes, I just was unmuting myself. Dex, I got a 17.
Okay, so as like this javelin comes through the front window, and it like lodges into like the table behind you, and like like rings there. The front window right next adjacent to the door is like completely shattered. Barnaby like runs over there and he's like peering out the window, and you see like all of you like visibly see like the color in his face just like drains, and he mutters under his breath. He's like, it's the butcher, and he's like, he tells again, he yells back at Jacob. He's like, hold that door, and then he also yells at Barraggs. He's like, Barraggs, come over here with me. And the Barraggs comes over. He's the dwarf. He comes over to the front door, and they're like holding it. As now there's like you see figures start to like walk up towards the front door, and he yells at you, and he's yelling at the group, and specifically at Brenna. He's like, Ellie, get all 4 of them out. And he has he at this point, like to you, Hunter, he's like, I don't know what's going on exactly, but I know this foe. I know this enemy. I know who he is, and you need to get out. Like based on like, I do better like narrating than I do like if I said this all in his voice. But he explains to you like, he knows who this guy is. Like the butcher guy that they've been talking about. He's like experienced or met him like in the past, and he doesn't have time to like go into details. But if the butcher wants you 4, which is he's kind of like piecing this together. There's like this apparency to him, you know, that I don't know if I verbally said it, but that might have even been something that the big guy said as they like walked into the room. He's like, oh, get these 4. I can't remember if I said that or not, but he's like, if you guys leave, like it'll be safer for like everyone else here. And he's like, now he's telling or addressing the group. He's like, I've told Ellie what to do. Get to my sister in the east, and she'll like help you figure this out along with like this note. And you explain the situation and tell him that the butcher is coming.
Ellie's just looking around, and she shrugs. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You didn't tell me anything.
He's like, not you, her. And he like points at Brenna.
Okay, can I do something?
You
I
may.
do something really quick?
Yes.
Can I, so I have a telepathic connection with Cinnamon as
Yes.
my familiar.
Uh-huh.
I want Cinnamon to poke his little stealthy weasel head out the window that is now broken.
Uh-huh.
And I can see through his eyes.
Mhm.
If I like focus on it. I want, basically what I'm trying to do is before we get out of here, I want to see what the butcher looks like, so I know like who to keep an eye out for. So
Okay.
I want to send Cinnamon running. I'm gonna hold on to Luna's hand because I have to focus on this. And I'm just gonna like move along like as she leads me while I'm focusing on Cinnamon.
Do you know if Cinnamon has like a dark vision or anything? You know,
Cinnamon
assume
has
that a ferret.
Cinnamon
or
does
a-
not have dark vision, but he does have keen hearing and smell.
Hearing
So
and smell.
at the very least, he might be able to like catch a scent or something if he
Um,
can't see that well.
Yeah, like I'm totally fine with that. So Cinnamon runs out. Let's roll like a perception for Cinnamon.
Okay.
I don't know like if he has like a
Go,
dex stat
Cinnamon.
or a wisdom
He
stat.
has a stat block. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, go Cinnamon! I rolled a 19, so that's a 22 for perception.
Okay. As Cinnamon like is you know, darting through, and I'm on purpose not going to even have Cinnamon roll like a stealth. Like the people that are like outside are very like intent on like what they're doing, and they're like coming towards like the inn. So you notice that there are a group of people. You don't get a sense for like an exact number, but you know that there's like a lot of them. Like I would say like 10 to 15 plus. Like there's a lot, and you are specifically looking out for the butcher, and it's very apparent and quickly apparent to you like which one of them this is. There's like this hulking figure, again similar in size to the man that's in the room with you, which is Hunter. It's like this 6 foot like 5 frame, like very tall, you know, sturdy. It is human. You see that there is like a distinct like scar on his face. There's something again like that with like the flickering of the torchlight. It's like delved in deep enough that you can like visibly make it out, and enough also where you would expect, you know, that Barnaby like apparently did see it as well, even from like a short distance. Besides that, all you notice like through these people coming up is they are all like outfitted in the same kind of like very typical like garb of like a mercenary or something like that. There's no distinguishing features or marks besides that. Yeah. Any other
Okay.
questions? Yeah. Okay.
No, I'm just gonna, as soon as I get kind of like what I feel like I'm gonna be able to get. Ooh, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna have Cinnamon stay there for as long as he can.
Do you know what your range is on him, just so I can keep track?
Oh, good point.
Because he like
100
disappears.
feet.
He disappears
Yeah.
after a while, right? Because he's
Well,
not
he doesn't disappear. I just don't have my mental
Your-
connection with
your
him.
mental
So
connection with
100 feet is my telepathic connection. So I'm just gonna have him wait as long as he can, and then try and scurry after us.
Okay, and you want to hold the connection as you start to get 100 feet? I'm just make sure I know.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So as you're doing that, I'm going to. I just want to use my cool little timer thing. I want to get the camera better, but so this. What are you guys doing now?
I'm pushing toward Ellie to the door or trap door or whatever that is that we're going through.
And Barnaby
Yeah,
did
and-
explain that overall to the overall room. So you guys here, not just Brenna. Okay.
I'm asking Barnaby if he's coming as well.
Barnaby's like he's like I'll hold him off. You guys get out of here while you can. I'll be fine. And he like waves you on like very very firmly.
And same with Jacob and the dwarf.
Jacob and the dwarf, they're kind of like following along with Barnaby. Like these villagers, while not like versed necessarily in combat, like the dwarf seems to be like a pretty not just like sturdy, you know, like physically, but also yeah, he's gonna like stay. And Jacob, you can kind of get the thing of he has a thing for like Brenna, and he'll do anything to like help. So he's like, yeah, you guys go. They're not coming unless I don't know. They're not coming as of right now.
I take one more look at Barnaby, longing and tears in my eyes, and then I turn and run.
And Barnaby, he is like a gruff, grizzled sort, but you know that like this, more than like I can convey through doing like a something. He has like he's noticeably distraught by your departure.
I go over to the trap door. It's been pointed out now.
Yep,
And
it's been pointed out.
Right. I lift it up and I just hold it and like indicate for others to go through as I'm holding it up, you know.
So Luna,
Hurry, they're coming.
I'm able to like walk, but I can't like see. So you're just sort of like blindly leading me. And this is not the first time I've done
That's
this,
fine.
sure. So.
Luna knows what's going on.
I know the routine.
Luna, make as you get over to like the trap door, which Hunter is holding open. Make I think like an athletics check. This is like kind of based on your like strength and ability to kind of like get down this hatch while like kind of escorting your sister.
It's a nice roll.
We are professional tumblers.
Our professional tumblers.
That is very true. I got an 11.
Which professional tumblers, that's taken into account with your proficiencies and stuff, I imagine. You got an 11. You do manage to like kind of assist your sister getting down like this stairwell without mishap. So you two are down in the cellar now. Brenna, where are you?
Okay.
Yeah, I follow him, right?
Okay. Yep, you go.
Okay, and I make one last I guess like a persuasion. Could I persuade? Because I have
You can try.
particularly Jacob, but I'm just like, they're coming. There's gonna be no survivors. You know, I feel like it's not gonna end well. Leave now with us. You know.
So
I'll
you're
get a roll.
you're directing this towards Jacob specifically.
Yeah, well, Barnaby has already made his kind of decision, but I'm saying it for everybody, but I'm looking at Jacob. I
Okay,
guess.
roll a persuasion check.
It's an 18, and I have plus 6 in persuasion.
Plus 6 in persuasion. So Jacob, like for a minute, like you look, he's like kind of a little bit like faltering in like what he thinks might be the best thing. And Barnaby like also like shouts to him. He's like we'll be fine. And for the intents of this, like Jacob is gonna stay.
Okay. All right. And then I just go down and shut the trap door.
You go down and shut the trap door. As you go down, you all find yourselves in like a small. This is not like a large tavern, so it's like kind of a small like word like celery. It's a small celery.
Cellar.
Full of like wines and no, but it's also like the larder, like the random things that can be kept reasonably well without like undue amounts of like preserving or refrigeration, because there's none of that here.
Okay.
Brenna, you do know, like as Barnaby ushered you out, that there is like his pack that's like adjacent to like the door that he like told you to take with him. That's also there, and then there's like the hatch that leads out of the wine cellar towards the outside, on the eastern side.
I know this doesn't really matter, but my guy would say it. He would say thank you and good luck to the guys above as I'm going down.
And he like and he kind of like does that, and he all the best, and he like shuts the door.
So where's the exit? I'm talking mainly
This
to
is a
Brenna.
very small room. You see it like right there. It's just like almost like adjacent. So there's coming down this ladder. There's just like all this the foods and stuff around, and then there's like these stairs that lead outside.
Okay, I open the door and
Okay.
again hold it.
Make a stealth check.
Me?
Yep.
Let's see. That's a 9 plus stealth plus 1, so 10.
Are you wearing heavy armor perchance?
I'm wearing chainmail, which I think is in the heavy category.
Is chainmail the one that gets disadvantage?
Heavy armor gets disadvantage.
I think
on
all
stealth
heavy
checks.
does.
I hate to be that person.
No, you're right.
But big clinky paladin is probably not going to be that stealthy.
Yeah.
I think the chainmail is like also like
There's disadvantage, so I gotta roll again.
You got to roll again and take the lower.
The 10 was the lower, or so
10 was
10
the lower.
total was the lower.
So you peer out of this thing, and you see like to your right there is like a mercenary, or like one of these people, and you don't know. It just looks like it's wearing the same garb as like some of the other mercenaries that were around. You not being familiar with this village, you don't know much else other than that. But he doesn't seem to be taking notice of you, and he's walking to the right, around kind of back towards the front door, and he doesn't seem to have taken notice.
Okay. So I'm just, I guess, kind of holding the door open. That's where I'm at right now?
You are holding the door open right now. All of you start to hear like crashing and noises like up at the front door, like above in the room above you.
What
like
does
the
Cinnamon
scuffles
see?
of conflict. Cinnamon sees like this party and this group that has like been progressing has like kind of subsequently run up to the door and like been beating on it, and there's like some of the not the butcher, not the big guy, but like some of the smaller ones that are like crawling in through the windows that are starting to like make it into the room.
Okay.
And Cinnamon,
There's no fighting right this moment yet?
Not right this moment. Like Barnaby's still holding the door with the dwarf, and then Jacob in the back is like successfully kept the back door closed.
Okay. I think Cinnamon is gonna like run over toward the back of the tavern.
As he
And
does
just
that,
try
like,
and, like-
the back door does like forcefully burst open, and there's like a few others back there.
Okay.
And, like a few other guards that are walking.
Cinnammon's gonna duck behind the door that just burst open and just keep an eye and try and look for. He's gonna kind of wait to see how things unfold. Ellie wants to see if they survive or not. Otherwise, Cinnamon is gonna slink out of the door and try and catch up with him.
Okay. What are you guys doing? With Tori's like buzzed over
Like
vision.
warged out face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask Hunter, right? Is that your name?
And you don't know his name yet in the game, but yeah, Hunter.
No, I'm talking about like your actual brother's name.
Yes, Hunter is his name.
You did too.
Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna ask Hunter's character, is it safe to go? Can we go? We shouldn't stay here.
Yes, quietly. Because that guy was walked around the corner, right?
Yep, and he's like, so as the kind of as at the same time as like Tori heard the back door break in, which you are not aware of, but you see this guy around the corner towards the front door.
Okay.
Or towards the front door. Yeah. So it's
Must
clear.
be quiet.
I'm gonna start leading Ellie and myself out. Where do you want me to go?
I'll say this to Brenna. Brenna, you know that like the safest way out of the town, as you've lived here, is if you probably at this point is it you wrap and slightly left around the corner of the building, heading towards north, basically towards the hill that you came from at the start. You head towards that way, you get towards like the brush and out of town. If you head south, east, or anywhere west, like around the other side of the building, you're going to be going right towards the conflict. But if you go north/northeast-ish, that's the direction you want to go. So you know that specifically, Brenna, as Tatum's character.
And we kind of
says.
figure that Brenna knows, right? Because she was our waitress. She kind of knows the town, right?
Yeah, you would. You might know to like ask her. Yeah.
Okay, so then I grab the backpack, Barnaby's backpack. It's in that room, right?
Yep.
You already have it, right? Oh.
No, she for the intents of this, like you all have like the packs that you have come with naturally, and Brenna, your pack is down here too, so you grab it as well as Barnaby's.
Okay, so I grab that and I cinch it tight and I run out, and kind of like in front of the group stealthily, so that I can lead them around.
Okay. So Brenna's like leading the way and towards basically this is northeast of like where your current position is. As he's doing this, and Tori, you begin to see like there's like several troops that have like rushed in this door. They've knocked Jacob prone. You don't through the ferret. Sorry, is it a weasel? I apologize.
Weasel. It's
Weasel.
okay. Cinnamon isn't easily.
Through Cinnamon's vision, you see that it's hard to tell. Jacob doesn't seem to be dead, but it's hard to tell, and he's definitely prone. Through the front, like, through the front door, it is still being held, but there is like a few soldiers in there, and they're like distracting or like starting to tussle with the dwarf. Barnaby is still holding fast to the main door. No one is dead.
Do
but
they seem, now that they've
in.
knocked Jacob down, are they like still going after him, or are they
seem
kind
to
of
they
like
seem to just like kind of
neutralizing him kind of thing?
Almost neither. They're making no attempt to like purposefully attack or injure him, but they're also like kind of they're like stepping over him. They're not very just cognizant of him. They he's like trying to like crawl over to the corner, but they don't seem very aware of him, and they're starting to like
Okay.
search behind the back of the bar and stuff now.
Okay. I think Cinnamon is going to... I'm going to try to have Cinnamon wait until that front door comes bursting in and see if he can see the butcher walk in the light. And so I can hopefully get a good look at his face. And then I'm going to have Cinnamon run for it.
Okay. That door is still being held fast. Back in the basement, back outside. You guys are like making your way north. You're still within range of like Cinnamon. And I'm assuming that you're still just like kind of Brenna is taking you like into the woods.
Could I pick? I don't know what's wrong with Ellie, but can I like pick her up or because she's probably slowing us down, right?
She's pretty small. She's like she's like 5'2" or something and really petite, so probably wouldn't be too
So
difficult.
I asked Luna, can I help her? Can I pick? We need to go. Like, I want to be more urgent than we are.
I look at you, and then I look back at her, and I say, okay, let's go. Let's do it.
So I pick her up.
No strength check needed. Yeah, she's pretty petite, and you're pretty big. You just grab her and you keep going. Just so aware for everyone, like if this was like some sort of like combat type situation, like right now we're just kind of in free form. Like your movement would be like slowed, but it already was as well. So this is kind of a little bit faster than it was before. Yes. At this point, like the door does like burst open, And this is just this time is like as you guys are quickly like fleeing from this, just as like this is getting a little bit out of like Cinnamon's range, and Tori, you start to notice like you do see the door burst open as like the butcher like goes in full head on, and Barnaby is like pushed back, but you don't see much more than that, and you are getting like very close out of range, whatever happens with that, whether you switch back or whether Cinnamon leaves.
I'll tell Cinnamon to run.
Okay, so Cinnamon runs out the back door. Again, no one is even paying any attention. Like they're not even cognizant
Yes,
of it.
he's also naturally quite stealthy, so.
Yeah. Okay.
A sneaky weasel.
As
I'm gonna keep an eye out for Cinnamon since Ellie's in the big guy's arms, and hold my hand out to him as maybe he
Now,
runs.
I guess now that Cinnamon is running, Ellie will come back.
Okay, you
because
come
she
back
can
and
still
you're-
have a mental connection, but she's just not going to look through his eyes anymore.
you're
And she's
like,
like,
being carried by this giant guy.
She'll just like kind of look around, and how are you carrying her? Like fireman style, or like cradling style, or some?
Let's go with like this. No, I'm just kidding. Let's just, if she's small, I'm
Like
probably
regular?
just doing like the. Yeah.
Okay. She kind of like wakes up and looks confused, and then she shrugs and she's like, "Oh, this is nice," and she'll just like settle and let you carry her unless you drop
And
her.
I kind of noticed like all of a sudden you're back to normal or whatever. I'm like, oh, and I just keep going though. You said this is nice.
Yeah, and then I just like got comfy.
You're back, and then after that, I do think I would set her down.
Oh, that works too. And she'll turn to Luna and she'll say, "I don't think they were killing those men back there, but they're definitely looking for somebody, probably us. Cinnamon's on his way. I think he'll catch up."
Okay, then let's definitely get out of here.
As you like get into the like this forest area, you're close by the hill, Brenna, that you were near the start, but you're like kind of at the base of it. Again, a little bit out of town. Like we'll say, before you stop running, you're about an eighth or a ninth of a mile out. Again, just near the base of this hill, into a like forested area that like rests at the bottom of this. Like the rain is like still like coming down. It's coming down a little bit softer now. There's like the slight still sea breeze wind coming over from the west that's blowing over. As you look back, like you're just at an elevated enough of a spot here that you can see like through the back of the town that there is like these small like not like wholesale, but like small little pockets of like fire or like that are starting to like blaze up about the size. I mean, it's big enough that it's like visible from here. Not big enough that like you don't think like the tavern or anything like significant is on fire, but like maybe it's big enough that maybe some of like even like the huts are literally starting to like catch on fire, etc. At this point, you are at a spot where it's like reclusive enough or far enough that you feel comfortable that you can like stop here and potentially talk about what's going on, just as like a frame of reference of what Brenna would know, and a little bit Hunter, because you came from the north as you like kind of meandered down into this area. So what is the situation of where you're at currently is there's the sea over to the west that is firm there over to your north there's like this mountain range, and then south of the village like runs this river. Brenna, you know that towards like this village, which is kind of a sister village, where Andy, the Barnaby's sister, lives, Gion, it's over there. It's to the east. It lies kind of straight east almost along the course of like this river that then like wraps around that city, like moving up into the mountains. There is on the north side of this river, there is a road that goes there. It's not a well-traveled road. There's not much commerce here. It's basically these two small villages that kind of communicate and support each other and help each other with various like miniature, like fish or like farming stuff on the other side, right? So there's like a small, not well-traveled road, but it is like defined as an actual road. Like it's not just like an obscure path. And then there's like the forest line that is on the southern part of this mountains. That kind of like trails towards that way. So there's like the forest, this like road that's just a little bit north, a little bit out of vision of like this river. And then south of the river, it's also mostly like forested land. So that's kind of where your situation is, with Barnaby's prompting to get over to that city to the east. That's what your guys' situation is.
Is everyone okay?
Is Cinnamon back?
Cinnamon is back. Yep.
Okay. He's
Safe
just
and
like
sound.
tucked up in my jacket, and I'm giving him little snacks that I have.
He like
I mean, I
nibbles on
think
him.
I'm okay. A little, well, shaken up.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. We've run all this way, and I don't even know your names.
I put my hand out. I'm Zarthiel.
Zarthiel. That sounds quite exotic. And
Yep.
Yeah. And what's yours?
I'm Ellie. This is my sister Luna. We are the Valpyros twins. You may have heard of us. We're from the Lost Brigade Circus.
You have not heard
Well,
of them.
we were.
I have not heard
Neither
that.
of you have heard of them. Neither of you have heard of them.
But that won't stop us from continuously talking about our act and like,
Yeah.
well, you know, we're the Phoenix and Zephyr, the tumbling twins. You might have heard of us, and just kind of give a little bit more detail than was maybe wanted, just to make extra sure that you hadn't heard of us before, just because we're pretty sure you've heard of us.
This is what I'm doing.
What about you? What's your name?
And I just kind of like almost interrupt and just say Elysium, and not really like give credit to what they're saying about being the twins of whatever.
Just
Tumblr.
like you are now.
And
Yeah,
Brent,
and then I'm not like looking at anyone. I'm like looking around at the village and like the path ahead, and I'm a little distracted, and it shows.
Well, I can't imagine why any for the four of us together as a group, especially seeing as we didn't even know each other. At least, it doesn't seem that way. I mean, like I
don't.
said, you may have been at a show or something, but I wouldn't remember.
Let's take another look at that note. If we have the time, of course.
Yeah,
Do we
yeah,
think
yeah.
we're at a safe spot? Should we keep going? I mean, sorry, Elysium?
Yeah.
Yeah, Elysium. Do you think this is like? Should we keep going, or do you think this is a safe spot to just kind of catch a breath? What do you think?
I think we can stop for a minute, but not too much longer. And then I take out the note that's been stuffed in my pocket and open it up and look and show everyone so that they can look at it.
Okay, I'm reading it again. The part that intrigues me the most is at the bottom, about the executing the girl. And I look over at Elysium. Do you know anything about this?
you don't.
I don't.
You don't recognize any of the names on this piece of paper?
Brenda, you don't recognize like anything.
Right. No, I don't. And then I like kind of look a little reflective, and I start opening up to them about my past a little bit, and just say I don't remember anything from 2 years ago.
I'm sorry, like, nothing? You don't even remember your parents?
Nothing from 2
Nope.
years ago.
That probably explains why you didn't know who we were. That makes a lot of sense now.
That probably does. Yep.
That tracks. Oh, how
How
terrible.
did you get here? You don't.
I don't
You
know.
have like a faint recollection, yeah, like but it's like fuzzy, like you know, she tells you a
Like-
little bit about how she was like kind of traveling through the woods with this man. Again, like this is all like very broken like imagery, and she was traveling through the woods. She doesn't really know where or how, but with this man who left her, and like Barnaby is like the first real person that she kind of like associated, actually really kind of like solidified, and 2 years ago, that's like where her memory kind of like reinitiate.
But do I even like remember the beginning of him, or is it just like does my
of the
memory
guy?
start with him?
You remember like traveling through the woods with like this character, but you don't know his name. That it's not Barnaby. You don't remember his name. You remember it's just like an old like grizzled man with like a long gray beard. So you do remember stuff like that, but you don't know where you traversed to like get there, and you know like it just like was a lot of stuff like just camping and running and going and walking. You know, you felt like this sense of urgency and distress. That's kind of like so you feel like the emotions of what you remember from this mostly, as like a very traumatic something. But that's about it.
Well, my guy Zarthiel, he seems unsure at this moment of what to do or what's going on, and I kind of take a few steps from the party, and I kneel down, and I start like saying a prayer, you know, and you can kind of just like by myself, like away from the group.
Okay.
And I don't know if anyone else could hear me or not. Okay, that must be that thing.
Yeah,
Be back.
sorry.
Yep, no, we're good. We're good.
But I'm like I'm holding. You guys can't see it, but I'm holding a small green bracelet, and I'm basically thanking that I'm here, and also wondering where to go next, and like looking for guidance.
Do you
Okay.
say your god's name, or any name that you're like praying to?
Like the Temple of Aegis, right?
Well,
You don't.
but that's not necessarily what I'm praying about. It would be farther back than that. No, I don't ever really say the name.
Yeah,
I just say, oh
Yeah.
gods or whatever.
I know what you. As you do, like nothing immediately happens. I mean, there still is like the rain is still like softly falling, and like the wind is like feeling the building past. Go ahead.
I guess for me, like I'm not necessarily expecting anything, especially for the others to notice. It's going to be more of like all internal. And you might not have to say anything, but it's all. This is just how he is.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps, but you can
Nope,
go ahead
yep.
with.
Nope.
Ellie
That
kinda
was about what
watches-
happened.
Yeah, Ellie kind of watches this for a little bit, and kind of looks at Luna, like gives her like a side eye, and then kind of looks. It's drizzling. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know what kind of answers you're getting from your prayer, but perhaps we should start by getting somewhere dry.
And as you say that,
Yeah.
like the rain does like stop, and like there's like a break in the clouds to like the east as like the light of the moon shines through the east.
Ellie's just like dumbfounded. It worked. What god do you pray to?
And I'm hearing her, but I'm still like kind of intent on my thing. I'm I'm used to being mocked, I guess, or in a way. I don't know if you're mocking me, but I hear it, and then I finish my prayer, and I stand up, and I go to Ellie, and I say, "Where is this village?"
Or to Elysium.
We-
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only
But
Barnaby
I-
really
and I-
calls
but I
her
ca-
Ellie. Yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
that's what he called her. Yeah.
But I do come back, and it looks like I have a greater sense of like what to do, like more confident, even if it's. But I asked Elysium where, take us to the village or.
And then I kind of look annoyed that like his prayer actually worked and did something, and that like Ellie's like optimism was so optimistic and it worked. But I'm just like, yeah, okay, let's go and start kind of leading them that way towards the break.
Okay, we're gonna call
No.
it there. Unless.
Oh, okay.
Yep. That's
I
it.
just
wait.
I was
go ahead.
just gonna point out that I think we're at a severe information disadvantage because we don't know what Elysium was doing before 2 years ago.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. There we're gonna call
We
it.
must. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's a lot of things, or not much to think about either way. But it's 10:30, and that's what I promised. So,
Is it 10:30? Oh, it's
That's
only
my 10:30 my
that's
time.
for you.
yeah. What we're gonna
I was
do?
ready to go for another 2.5 hours. I'm
I
like,
know, right? What we're gonna do is we're just gonna like say goodbye like here as a group, and then if anyone has to go, you can go. Well, we're just gonna say a goodbye, so like when I can edit it for YouTube, I can like cleanly cut it, and then whatever. So thanks everyone for being here. I appreciate it. The stream is not ending, but the YouTube is right now. Thanks to our wonderful cast for joining us for this first and chaotic adventure. It was a lot of fun. I don't have like a sign off, but I will say, as always, the world's your tomato, and cheers.
thanks everybody.